Over the past few weeks, I've been putting a lot of focus into improving my Stylized Components library, and today I'm bringing you a new painterly effect I've been working on. The goal of this video is to understand how this effect actually works, go through the key concepts behind it, and then turn everything we learn into an easy-to-use implementation that you can plug into your own 3D scenes. So let's start by breaking down what we're actually looking at here. To clarify, the aesthetic to be recreated is that of paintings of this style, where the brush strokes make the shapes look more abstract, giving them that characteristic look. This is what is commonly referred to as a painterly effect, but the actual technique behind it is called an anisotropic Kuwahara filter. To better understand how to implement it, I took several of the key concepts from this really detailed article, which I'll leave linked in the description if you want to dive deeper into the technique. So before we start writing any code, let's understand what this effect actually is. The first thing I want to point out is that this is not a material. The effect doesn't care about what your scene is made of. Your models can keep their original materials, textures, lighting, and everything else exactly as they are. And that's what makes this effect so useful and reusable. You can plug this filter into the rendering pipeline and get this painterly look without having to modify a single material. Before we get into it, if you want to try these effects yourself, I've put all of these stylized components on this website. Here you can find the components, watch the videos behind each one, and get the source code for free. I've also started a Patreon for those who want to go a step further. There, you'll get access to complete scenes like the one you're seeing here and other projects, from landing pages to game demos. And by subscribing, you're also helping me keep building and sharing more components like these, so we can eventually turn these into a much bigger library of stylized resources. Of course, this is completely optional. Simply subscribing to the channel and watching these videos already helps me a ton. Without further delay, let's get into how this painterly filter actually works. Let's start with what we already have. A simple torus knot with a mesh standard material, 2 directional lights, and a plane that only receives shadows. Nothing fancy, and that's intentional. Everything we're going to look at from this point on happens after this scene has already been rendered. So this is the basic structure we're going to build. Each of these filters is a separate post-processing pass, and together they will create the final painterly look. Let's start with the one doing most of the heavy lifting, the Kuwahara filter. The idea is pretty simple. Instead of blurring the entire neighborhood around each pixel, we divide that neighborhood into several regions. In our case, we're using 8 sectors like slices of a pizza. For each one, we calculate the average color and how much the colors vary inside that region. Then, we simply keep the average of the region with the lowest variance. And that's what gives us these larger, flatter patches of color while keeping the important edges intact. That's the core idea behind the Kuwahara filter, the most important part behind the painterly effect we're looking for. The second pass, although for me it is optional, makes a big difference. It takes the image from looking like a render with a filter to something that actually feels illustrated. I don't know if anyone remembers this PlayStation game, but it's the first thing that comes to mind. We can easily achieve this aesthetic with irregular ink borders, which gives it a rather unique character. To apply outlines, we can do it in 2 ways that give us completely different results. Outside the painterly filter, which will give us a much more defined stroke, or below the filter, which is my favorite since we will obtain more irregular edges, as if they were brush strokes. For the outline, we have 3 main controls: thickness, threshold, and softness. Thickness isn't a blur. It controls how far apart the edge samples are. so even a thicker line costs the same. We're still doing the same 8 texture reads. The threshold controls how strong the luminance change needs to be before it becomes a line. Turn it down and you'll start outlining every tiny gradient. Turn it back up and the image becomes much cleaner. And finally, softness controls how gradually that threshold turns into a line. A completely hard edge can make diagonal lines look earliest. A little softness gives the stroke more weight, more like an actual ink brush and less like a plotter. While I like how it looks, it's not suitable for every scene, so it's up to you whether to use it and in what situation. This is the third and final pass, and notice something as I turn it up, nothing moves. The patches stay where they were, the lines stay where they were. The only thing changing is the color. That's the important distinction here. The Kuwahara pass reorganizes the image. It decides where the patches and brush strokes go. This pass simply grades it. It doesn't change the structure, only the color of each pixel. These two controls clamp the ends of the tonal range. Nothing gets to pure black or pure white. That's because watercolor doesn't really have a true black. Even the darkest pigment still lets some of the paper through. And it doesn't have its own white. The paper is the white. Push these all the way to the extremes and the result becomes much more graphic, more like screen printing than watercolor. The saturation control is basically a correction pass. Quantizing luminance and pushing colors toward the shadows or highlights naturally removes some saturation, so this brings some of that color back. And finally, the cheapest layer of them all, paper. It's just a grayscale grain texture multiplied over the result. But it's not a PNG, it's procedural, generated on the CPU when the component mounts. A few layers of noise, some contrast, and that's it. The scale controls how often the texture repeats across the screen with aspect ratio correction so the grain doesn't get stretched on a wide monitor. And this is the detail that really sells the effect. It's what finally makes the image feel more like it's actually printed on paper. And that's the final result. I already have quite a few more components in mind, but I'd also love to hear what you would find most useful. So if there's a component or effect you'd like to see added to Stylized library, let me know in the comments. It'll help me decide what to prioritize next. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep making these experiments and sharing the code. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.